Away from that, the Ondo State Government has proposed a death sentence for whoever is found guilty of kidnapping in the state. This is in a bid to eradicate kidnapping in the state. The Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice in the state, Dr. Olukayode Ajulo, disclosed this while speaking with journalists on Saturday after the weekly State Executive Council meeting. It was gathered that the state governor, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, presided over the meeting. Ajulo said the proposal would soon be transmitted to the State House of Assembly for necessary legislative action. To discuss this, we're joined by a lawyer and a public affairs analyst, Tunji Abdulhameed. Thank you so much, Tunji, for joining us to discuss this.
Thank you for having me, Lincoln.
All right. You're welcome, sir. Now, do you support death penalty for anyone convicted of kidnapping?
It's neither here nor there, because it's not about the law itself. It's not about the sentencing. It's about the government doing the right thing. I say so because I'm aware that about so many, not less than 6 states or more that I know, Lagos State, Edo State, Akwa Ibom State, Ebonyi State, Katsina State, and some other states. They have a law that prescribe death sentence for kidnapping. Have you seen anyone sentenced to death and executed? No. So it's not about the law itself. It's about the enforcement of the law. Even though people are talking about capital punishment, eradication of capital punishment. Yeah, even if we have a capital punishment and it's not being enforced, what is the essence of it? So Lagos State they have a law in that regard, so whereby a kidnapping involved a death where somebody died in the course of kidnapping, you are entitled to be sentenced to death. The only person that has been sentenced to death in that regard that I know is Evans. That is the only person, and he has not been executed. He's still in custody, though he has so many other cases that he's facing. There are other states in that regard. So for me, it is not about the law itself. It's about the ability to enforce the law, and that has been our major problem in this country. We can decide to make law, prescribe death sentence, prescribe this and that. If you don't enforce it, and if you don't take steps to show that you mean what you are saying, it don't cop anything. So it's not about whether I support the sentence or not. It's about whether will it be effective, will it achieve its objective, will it serve as a deterrent to these people. If it's not, because if they are not punishing people, it will serve as deterrence. If they've seen 2, 3, 4, 5 people sentenced to death and by hanging publicly executed, probably they will stop it. But because people are not even being arrested. How many people are in custody or in court for kidnapping offense? Serious ones, not just people they will pick up on the road and say kidnapping or this or one couple kidnappers. The serious ones, how many of them are in court facing trial? So that is the issue. The issue is not about the law itself. It's about ability to enforce it. Are we ready to do that? If not, I am not in support of any law that will just be in place and you just be there for nothing's sake.
So the inability to enforce or implement such laws, so to speak, does it boil down to the lack of political will or maybe complicity on the part of the handlers and interpreters or enforcers of the law?
Both are applicable as far as I'm concerned. Those who are supposed to enforce the law, some of them are compromised. Those are in charge who are supposed to take proper steps also don't have the political will. That's why you see a situation whereby those who have been killing people or who have been kidnapping people will be arrested and people will be talking about amnesty for them. That shows that there's no political will. Because I can't imagine a situation whereby you see a serial kidnapper who has killed people or who has rain terror on people, and you are talking about bringing back to the society by way of amnesty. It doesn't gel for me. So it's both. It's about lack of political will. It's about compromise. Even the court system is not helping matter. It's too complicated sometimes. And the police, who are supposed to be the one that will do the proper investigation to be able to have proper conviction. They don't always do their job most times. Have you ever, Evans was arrested. How many people that he's working with, how many of them have been apprehended with him? Maybe 2 or 3. They won't do much investigation to be able to unravel so many other things behind it. They will just go with one, and that's all. So it's all encompassing. It's all. It's so many factors. So, political way, compromises in authority, compromise from those who are supposed to enforce the law.
So talking about how complex this situation might be, I mean, many countries have abolished capital punishment, widely viewing it as a violation of human rights. So even while we grapple with the realities of how to implement it, how do we even draw the line to establish culpability or innocence?
That is the point I'm making. You see, the issue of eradication of capital punishment is subject to a debate, and it should not be because one country is doing it, another country should not do it. And it should not be because one country should do it, another country should not do it. It's about circumstance. Each a country should look at its own circumstance and see whether or not this is what will deter people from doing it. If you believe killing people for wrongdoing will deter people, then you may go ahead. But the problem I have in our country is that I'm afraid that most times so many innocent people may not go for it. Because like what was said, the problem why we lack a proper prosecution is that there is no proper foundation for that prosecution, no proper investigation. It is only in my country where you see them arrest somebody and they would go to court again and start asking for order to detain him pending when they will finish their investigation. So why did you arrest him when you have not investigated? For you to arrest somebody, you must have your evidence. It is not so if the evidence is not properly gathered or is not there is no way you can convict. That is the problem. So it's not about, sometimes it's not even about the judges. It's about those who are supposed to bring the matter before the court. And most times, unfortunately, some people don't even understand that those who investigate criminal acts or those who prosecute are not part of the judiciary. They are part of the executive. So the blame should not go only to the judiciary. The executive who is in charge of prosecution most times don't do their job. They don't do proper investigation. And without proper investigation, there's no way you can convict. Court will not rely on evidence on video, on TV, on newspaper, on social media to convict. You must bring that evidence before the court. Most times we don't see this. That is the problem we have today. So lack of proper investigation is one of the obstacles why the enforcement is not proper. It's not being done properly.
Okay, so if you are to stretch it further, I mean, you are a legal practitioner, and I'm looking at this within the context of the fact that this particular legislation or recommendation is state-based and it is subject to state legislation. So if it is eventually approved and one is caught, can that accused person still seek redress in a higher court?
Of course, if you are prosecuted at the High Court and you are not satisfied with the of the court, whether it's a state law or federal law, you have the right to go to a higher court, which is the Court of Appeal. If you are at the Court of Appeal and you are not satisfied, you go to Supreme Court. Court of Appeal and Supreme Court is not a state. It's not confined to only state federal law. It's not despite the fact that we call Court of Appeal and Supreme Court a federal court. That does not mean they only deal with federal laws or federal cases. Appeal from lower court, which is the High Court in this case, will go to the Court of Appeal, and from the Court of Appeal to the Supreme Court. So you have the right to appeal for that.
All right, thank you so much, Tunji Abdulhameed, for clarifying this and sharing your perspective with us on the news. We appreciate that.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure to be with you.